Today's video begins with footage of a sortie by drone operators from the Kardia Special Forces unit last night. Thanks to the night vision equipment installed in the drones, operators can see the enemy clearly and calmly, even in complete darkness. This gives them a powerful advantage over Russian soldiers, who cannot see beyond their own noses to run away. Some were so tired that they decided to rest in a field, not knowing that this would be their last and most unwise decision. The occupiers turned out to be very modern and advanced personalities. They truly loved to take photographs. That is why the drone unit, known as Rebesh, decided to organize a little photo shoot for them. By looking at the faces of the Russian soldiers, one could almost say how cheerful they seemed. But they did not yet realize that this photo shoot would be their very last. The camera, in the form of a drone, would capture and preserve their final breath. The operators of the drones approached this task with remarkable creativity. Different locations, changing backgrounds, careful use of light, unique angles, shifts in altitude, every frame prepared with care, every moment a composition. The poses of the soon-to-be dead were also given special attention. Some were caught standing, others while hiding, some as if frozen in thought. Each one documented with precision. This was not random filming. It was the work of true professionals. The operators demonstrated skill not only in combat, but in art. They created a gallery, a series of portraits, a silent archive of those who thought they were untouchable. The occupiers loved to be photographed. They smiled into the lens. They moved across the field, unaware of what followed. And when the drone pressed the shutter, it was not only light that was captured. It was the end. Every adult is just a little child hidden inside a big body. The same goes for Russian soldiers. Sometimes they even invite the drone to play different games. Games like tag, hide and seek, or dodgeball. But somehow it always turns out that the drone operators play these games much better. Perhaps they simply had a happier childhood. What is strange, however, is that the soldiers can see the result of these games. Twisted bodies, broken lives, and yet they continue to play. They keep playing the games that their nation forces them into, but it is they who must die in these amusements. Sometimes it even gets to the point of cheating. They run around trees, they hide underground, they squeeze two into one hiding spot, trying to make it harder to be found. But the Ukrainian soldiers play too well. They do not lose, no matter how much the others try to cheat. But to be serious, the war continues. A war fought with deadly weapons, assault rifles, machine guns, artillery, or, as shown in the video, the Armored Vehicle 3 STS Akhmet, which was burned to the ground thanks to drones. Drones that carried out this destruction in a way that was safe for people. But for whom was this destruction not safe? For the crew of that very armored vehicle. Because when the Akhmet was destroyed, it was already empty inside. Meaning, everyone who had been inside had disappeared somewhere. They scattered, they ran, and the operators had to search for each person connected to the movement of this machine. A machine that brought nothing but pain and suffering. And the people you see on the screen, they were not caught by the drone, but by karma, for all the evil deeds they had done, or even just planned to do. For all their sinful actions, they paid the highest price, life itself. The behavior of Russian soldiers often reminds me of an ancient Greek myth, a tragedy written by Euripides. In short, it tells the story of a prince named Admetus. The gods sentenced him to death, but there was one escape. Someone had to volunteer to die in his place, and his wife, Alcestis, stepped forward. Instead of refusing, instead of protecting the person closest to him, Admetus accepted the exchange with relief. Her life instead of his, Alcestis was taken away by the gods. Only much later was she returned from the realm of Hades. But she never spoke again. Her silence was heavier than words, because betrayal, when it comes from the one dearest to you, is a wound that no miracle can heal. The same is true here. A Russian soldier bites the very hand that tries to save him, even for a moment. Instead of gratitude, he is ready to betray the person standing right next to him. He points a finger at his comrade. He directs the drone toward him. And what happens after the strike? The soldier approaches the body of that same friend, and without hesitation, he robs him. He takes what belonged to a living man just moments before. This is not simply a lack of honor. This is the absence of morality itself. With such people, there is nothing to discuss, no agreements to be made, no conversations possible. Of course, not all of them are like this, but a herd always moves at the pace of its weakest. And so it seems more and more that they are all equally feeble, equally broken. And finally, let us remind you that in Ukraine there are also several fairly large rivers that boats can navigate, as we can see on the screens. And as we said earlier, any transport is an advantage, and advantages must be eliminated, so even a boat fell under this principle. However, the passengers still managed to get ashore. And I can confidently say they don't suffer from seasickness, because they ran quite briskly. But their motivation didn't last long. They began to slow down and hide. Yet you can't fool fiber optic drones that easily. And just to be sure, the area was cleared with bombs. Thank you for watching.